प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा।
राम कथा अरण्य कांड है।
राम कथा अरण्य कांड।
राम जी अयोध्या से निकलकर
Ram ji has left Ayodhya Puri and is in Aranya, that is, he is in the forest. And in this Aranya, the pastimes that happen are secretive and confidential. So, although the pastimes of Ramayana have been written by Valmiki Rishi and Goswami Tulsidas ji, but fundamentally this pastime was spoken by Devadi Dev to Mother Parvati. And when he starts the pastime of Aranyakan, and while speaking about the proclivities of this section, he tells Mother Parvati, he cautions her. And therefore, in the beginning of this Aranyakan, Shivji requests Mother Parvati very beautifully in this verse.
उमा राम गुण गूढ़ पंडित मुनि पावही बीरती पावही मोह विमूढ़ जे पावही मोह विमूढ़ जे हरि विमुख न धर्मरति हरि विमुख न धर्मरति। रामायण के इस अरण्य कांड को सुनाते हुए
So while speaking about this Aranyakan, Shivji tells Mother Parvati, "Oh dear Uma," so this is one of the names of Mother Parvati. And that is why she is also called Umayya Mata. So this is a form of address. He says the qualities of Lord Sri Ram are deep, So it implies that he is cautioning that about the pastimes of Aranya so that she doesn't have a doubt about Lord Sri Ram as she had in her previous birth as Mother Sati. After listening to this pastimes of Lord Ram,
याद है?
and while she was listening to this Aranya, she got detached and confused. So once Lord Shiva went to and Sati went to Kumbhaj Rishi's ashram to listen to the pastimes. So what is the fruit of listening to the pastimes is an audience with the Lord. So while they were returning back to Himalayas, and there in Dandararak 1, Shivji saw Ramji in the forest. And at that time, what pastime was going on? So this same pastime of Aranya was going on. And in that body of Sati, while seeing that
हो गया
pastime of Aranya, she had a doubt in Lord Sri Ram. So she got doubtful about Lord Sri Ram. And as you all are aware, then Mother Sati tried to test the Lord. And because of that, she had to
उस समय तो
lose her life.
देखा था और देखकर संदेह हो गया
So she has watched the pastime of Aranya and she became doubtful. So now we are listening, so we can have a doubt. Therefore, prior to speaking about Aranya, Shivji is cautioning Mother Uma or Parvati. He says his qualities are deep and confidential. In Bhagavad Gita, the same good is
जन्म कर्म च में
implied by the word
योग योगेश्वर
divya, that is divine or transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam. So his says his birth and life is ordinary, not ordinary like ordinary living entities, but they are different, they are extraordinary, and they are beyond the perception of common simple living entities. Therefore, we need to listen very carefully. So he says that the qualities and pastimes of Lord Sri Ram are deep, intense. So if we discuss this word gur, so first and foremost, gur is that the character of Lord Sri Ram is that in one character we can get attachment and detachment at the same time. The great brahmanas and sages get detached by listening to Lord Sri Ram's pastimes. But people who are foolish by listening to this Aranya become attached. So as it is mentioned in this verse, Goswamiji has mentioned here, he says, Pandit Muni
उसे
Pavahi
सुनकर
Virati.
जो पंडित है
So after listening to the pastimes of Aranya,
जो मुनि है
so those who are scholars or Brahmins and sages, they will get detached. But the people who are foolish, they will get attached. And they are exactly opposite of each other. So the opposite of attachment is detachment and renunciation. So these qualities of Lord Sri Ram are secretive. Why? Because one character can create detachment and renunciation at the same time. And the second thing is that in the pastimes of Aranya, Ramji is portraying his Aishwarya
सो कभी
or
कभी कुछ लोगों को भगवान का
the
माधुर्य देखकर
mellow of
ऐश्वर्य का
majesty,
पता नहीं चलता,
magnificence,
और कुछ
and
लोगों को भगवान का
his Madhurya Bhav, that is the conjugal love
पता
as
नहीं
well.
चलता।
So sometimes when people see
जैसे राम
his
जी अपनी
form
मधुरता
of majesty or magnificence, they are unable to understand his conjugal love and vice
राम जी की
versa.
इस नरलीला को देखकर सर्वप्रथम
So
कुंती को
Lord
समझना
Ram is performing this
समझकर हम
Nar
करेंगे।
Leela, that is, he's living
राम
as
जी
a
भी इस माधुर्य लीला को
l-
देखकर
human
कुंती
being,
को मोह हो गया।
and because of that, even
कृष्ण की लीला
Garuji
को देखकर
became
विभीषण जी
detached, became attached,
राम जी के ऐश्वर्य का
become
वर्णन करते
confused,
हैं।
and they were unable to
और
understand
कुछ
the
लोग तो
Aishwarya
भगवान के
of the
ऐश्वर्य
Lord.
को देखकर
And some, on
ईर्ष्या
other
को
hand,
नहीं
some
करता,
people who see his
जैसे अर्जुन
majesty, they are unable to
भगवत
understand
गीता में
the
11वें अध्याय में जब
conjugal
अर्जुन ने
love or Madhurya
ऐश्वर्य
Bhav
को
of the
देखा,
Lord. So when
जब
Arjuna
कृष्ण
saw
का
the
ऐश्वर्य देखा,
universal form of
वो
the Lord with
ऐश्वर्य जो
all
सबका
his
समान दिखता है,
opulence, then his relationship as a
वो
friend
खो गया।
towards the Lord
देवी कुंती
was
ने
lost.
कृष्ण के उस
Mother Kunti,
ऐश्वर्यमय स्वरूप को देखा, जब
after
कृष्ण रथ पर
seeing
सवार
the
होकर उत्तरा के
form,
गर्भवती रमन
benevolent
करने
form
लगे,
of the Lord,
और
and
अंदर भी थके
he
हैं और बाहर
protected
भी खड़े हैं, जब इस
Uttara's
ऐश्वर्य को
womb
देखा,
and her child.
तो
So
माता
when she
कुंती को
saw
भी
this,
भगवान
then
के
Mother
ऐश्वर्य को
Kunti,
देखकर माधुर्य का पता नहीं
by
रहा।
seeing that, she
सो एक
forgot about
यह
the
दोनों,
conjugal love
एक
of Lord.
आदमी ये दोनों को बैलेंस नहीं कर
So
सकता।
a person
जो
cannot
ऐश्वर्य
balance
में है
these two.
वो
A person who is in the
भगवान
mode
को नहीं
of
समझ सकता,
magnificence cannot
जो माधुर्य
understand
में है
the
वो
conjugal love
भगवान
of
के
the Lord,
ऐश्वर्य को नहीं समझ
and vice
सकता।
versa.
लेकिन रामायण का एक ऐसा
But
पात्र है
in Ramayana, there is
जो
one
इनको बैलेंस
character
करके चला,
who balanced these
और
two,
वो पात्र है
and that is
विदेहराज जनक।
Videhraj Janak.
बंदउ परिजन सहित विदेहु, जाहि राम पद गुढ़ सने हूं। मैं जनक जी को स्पेशली प्रणाम इसलिए करता हूं,
So I
जनक जी ने
especially
राम
bow
जी का
down
ऐश्वर्य
at
गुण
the
तो
lotus feet of
पचा लिया,
Janakji
राम
because
जी के माधुर्य
he
गुण को भी
was
पचा
able to
लिया।
digest
जनक
the
जी ने राम जी को
both the
बंधु
qualities of his
स्वीकार कर लिया,
magnificence
और
and
जनक जी ने
conjugal
राम
love
जी
at the
को
same time. He
अपने
accepted these two.
अपने दामाद के रूप में भी स्वीकार किया।
He accepted him as
सो
the
कुछ याद
most
करिए,
powerful
शास्त्र
man
कहते हैं
as well as
लीला
his
राम गुण गान,
son-in-law.
राम जी के इस अरण्य कांड में होने वाली जो लीला है अत्यंत गुड है।
So the pastimes of this Aranyakan
यदि
are
जो
very
मूर्ख होगा, मूढ़
confidential and
होगा,
secretive. So a
वो इस
person
लीला को नहीं
who
समझ पाएगा,
is not
लेकिन जो
wise
पंडित होगा
won't be able to
वो इस लीला को
understand them,
समझ पाएगा,
but a scholar would
जो
be able
विज्ञ
to
होगा
understand.
वो इस लीला
A
को समझ
sage
पाएगा। तो
will
राम
be
जी
able
के
to
अरण्य
understand
कांड
it.
की लीला को समझने के लिए
So to
पहले करना
understand the
होगा
pastimes of
मुनि बनना।
Aranyaka, we need to
वहाँ राम
become
गुण गुड,
either a
जिसके
scholar
गुण
or
गुड
a
है,
sage or a saint,
पंडित बिना
because
पावही बिरती,
his pastimes are
जिसे सुनकर वैराग्य करता है।
secretive and deep.
पंडित किसे कहते हैं?
And by listening the same,
जब पंडित बोलते हैं
scholars
तो
can
उनको
understand
हरिनाम
or
गाते
sages
गाते अच्छा इमेजिन होता है, और कोई वेदों के मंत्र
can
बोलते
attain
बोलते ये
renunciation.
समझ लेते हैं,
So
या कुछ
for
लोगों की
Pandit, we
सरनेम
think
होती है
that a person who has
जो हमारे
this
कथा सुनते हैं।
Harinam Chadar,
सो पंडित
or
किसे
some
कहते हैं?
people even have their last name as
जन्म से कोई
Pandit.
पंडित
So
नहीं
just
होता,
by having the last
या कोई
name, we
ड्रेस
cannot
पहन
be a
लेने से
scholar,
पंडित नहीं
or by
होता।
just a
मैं लौटा
dress,
था नर्तकी
you won't
शिरोमणि
become a
माता जी,
Pandit.
आपके सरनेम की डेफिनेशन देखिए,
So just see the definition of your
शास्त्र में लिखा
surname,
है
Nartaki
सद
Shiromani Mataji.
असत
It's mentioned in the
विवेकिनी
Shastras or
पंडा,
scriptures,
सद असत विवेकिनी बुद्धि ही पंडा, जिसकी बुद्धि में सत और
whose
असत का विवेक
mind
है,
can
उस
differentiate
बुद्धि
between
को पंडित
the
कहते हैं।
truth and the
सत और
untruthfulness,
असत में भेद जानने वाली,
or who can
सत और
differentiate
असत
between
में
a
विवेक
truth and
जानने
a
वाली
lie,
बुद्धि को पंडा कहते हैं, और
and such
जिसके
mind
पास है
is
उसे पंडित
addressed
कहते
or
हैं।
denoted as a pandita
तो
or a
जिसकी बुद्धि
scholar.
में सत और असत का
So, a person who is wise, who can accept the truth, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, that is a Pandit. And Muni is who is Munishila. So Shivji is saying that the scholars and the sages can understand the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram, and who is Vimud. In this verse itself, it's mentioned the people who are opposed to the Lord. Vimukh means in opposition, and who are not interested or attached to any principle of religiosity, that is dharma, are vimud or foolish. And such people won't be able to understand the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram of Aranya. But the scholars and sages would be able to understand his pastimes are divine and transcendental. So Ramji cries in separation with Mother Sita, this pastime will come. So what does a Brahman or a scholar or a sage or saint, people who are wise, what will they imply or think about this situation? They will say that uh, even Ram had to cry for women. So this even the Lord was affected by the material energy or Maya of the Lord. So we should stay away from it. But the people who are foolish, that even Ram cries for women. So in absence of a woman, then they should keep women to be happy. So people take their own perspective, but people like me, if say that we are not a scholar nor are we a sage or saint, and we are unable to understand the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram, then what are we supposed to do? There is one solution. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna says or gives this solution. He says that his pastimes are secretive and deep, and we all are unintelligent, unwise. So if we do one thing, we will understand these pastimes.
परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनः तत्वदर्शिनः ज्ञानिनः तत्वदर्शिनः। हमारे इस कथा के यजमान,
so the host of this katha, Pushpatalam ji, had one question among all the other questions, that please reveal the meaning of this verse. So it says that it is very tough to understand the pastimes of the Lord, and even great scholars get confused. But if we really want to understand, then the easy solution for the same is to take a shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. If we take a shelter of a bona fide spiritual master and then we try to understand these pastimes, then only we will be able to digest and understand them. So how should we go? or approach such a spiritual master. Pranipat means with humility, by bowing down. Sometimes people, when they go to the spiritual master, they they go with so much ego that let's see how much knowledge you have. When we go to the spiritual master, we should go with all humility and folded hands. That is why it is said pranipatena. And if they really want to understand the secretive pastimes of the Lord, then they should go approach a spiritual master with great humility. And pariprashnin, you should go and with questions rather than just telling the sorrow tale of your sorrows. When you approach the spiritual master, you should go with a great question or inquisitiveness. So we should be filled with humility and we should have this inquisitiveness and sevaya. So, so when you go to the spiritual master, then sevaya is with the intent of serving the spiritual master. We should have this desire to serve our spiritual master because our senses are not so pure that whatever he teaches us we are able to understand. But when we serve, then our senses gets purified and we are able to understand what he is implying. So here Shivji says that Ramji's pastimes are very secretive and really impossible to understand. It's very tough to understand. But if we take a shelter of a spiritual master, then it becomes easier. So let me give you a reference from Aranyakand itself. So there was one Aranya or a forest, and in that forest, there were quite a few birds that used to reside, and there was a hermitage of a sage, and he used to watch them on a daily basis, and he used to get happy seeing them. But one day he thought that one day or someday a hunter will come and he will trap them and take them. So the sage became merciful and he went to the birds and said, "Oh, dear birds, you're living a good life, but we're not sure of death. So if a hunter comes and he will trap you and kill you, and he will take away your independence." So all the birds said that please give us a solution so that we are not trapped in this trap. So he said there is a mantra. If you try to imply that in your life or imbibe it in your life, then you will be saved from this death. So Mahatma Ji taught the mantra that the hunter will come, he will put the seeds and he will put a trap, but don't get trapped. So as there are 4 lines in the verses, similarly for bird, they need a easy mantra. That's why he gave a easier mantra. Then they said that they started repeating that all the birds said that the hunter will come, he will put a trap, he will put the seeds, but please don't get trapped. And again, he made them recite it that don't get trapped. And they all by hearted it, memorized it. So now the bird said that now we have so now we have memorized all this Bhagavad Gita, this and that. So now we can be on our own. So initially we are before the master, but once we get the knowledge, then we leave our master. The spiritual master will not be at loss by that. The loss would be ours. How? So listen.
गुरुजी तो चले गए।
So
अब ये लोग
the
ने तोता की
sage
तरह
left,
रट लिया, शिकार
and these
लगाएगा,
people have
मछली
memorized
पकड़ेगा,
that
जाल
the
बिछाएगा, लेकिन
hunter
पकड़ेगा
will
नहीं।
come, he will put
केवल
the
भजन
seeds and
और
trap,
जीवन में
and we will get
रहेगा।
trapped. They
कुछ दिन के
just
बाद एक शिकारी
memorized it,
आया,
but didn't imbibe it
जाता
in their
था,
life. So a few
जाल
days
बिछाया, ये लोग
after
देख भी
the
रहे
hunter
हैं,
came, they
तो
put the
देखते देखते
seeds and
पता
put a
लगा
trap.
शिकारी आएगा।
And
बाघ
they
दिख
said
रहा है
that
सामने, दाना
they're
डालेगा वो भी
speaking
देख
that
रहे हैं, जाल
the
बिछाएगा
hunter
वो भी
will
देख रहे
come,
हैं।
he will put the
पीछे
trap,
भागना
he will put
पड़ता
the
है,
seed,
लेकिन फिर भी वो
and
उसको
we should
खा
not
रहे
get
हैं,
trapped. But still,
वो
they
खा रहे
entered
हैं,
that and they started
उसको
eating the
बोलते
grains
बोलते
from
खा
the
रहे
trap.
हैं।
Yeah, while
शिकारी
speaking
आएगा, दाना
the
डालेगा, वो
verse,
दाना चुभ रहे हैं।
and they are
शिकारी ने एक
eating
बार
these
दाना दे
grains.
दिया और सब सारे
And
पक्षियों
the
को पकड़
hunter
लिया,
trapped all these birds,
पकड़कर अपने घर
and he
पिंजरे में
took
बंद कर दिया।
them and
पिंजरे
at
में
his
बंद
home
कर
and put
दिया
them in the cage.
और गुरुजी को गाली देने लगे। गुरुजी ने
And they
पूछा
started
तुमने ऐसा
abusing
क्या
the
किया?
spiritual master.
मंत्र
How?
बिल्कुल नहीं है,
What
मंत्र
kind of
कैसा
mantra
काम
he
करेगा?
has given?
हम तो
This
फंस गए।
mantra had no potency. We
मैंने
got
मंत्र
trapped.
सिखाया था जीवन में
So
उतारने
he
के
said
लिए,
that. So he gave
मंत्र
the
से
mantra
नहीं।
to imbibe in our lives, not
और
just
तुम लोगों
to
जो गुरु और
memorize
उसी
it.
को त्याग दिया,
And you
इसके
let
कारण
go of the spiritual master. So
मंत्र
in this
सिखाना था,
manner,
फिर भी कुछ हुआ नहीं। अब क्या
although
हुआ?
they recited the
शिकारी
mantra,
के बाजू
but
वाले
nothing
खेत
happened.
में
So in the
भागवत कथा का
nearby
आयोजन
home,
हुआ।
there was a
एक
Bhagavad
पंडित जी
Katha
रोज
that
आते
was
भागवत
organized,
कथा गाने,
and a Brahmana
और
used to
भागवत
come
को
on a daily
हरि
basis,
नाम की महिमा सुनाते
and
हुए
he used to speak the glories of holy
बोले
names on
राम
a daily
नाम जो है
basis.
ना भव बंधन छुड़ा देता
He
है।
said that the name of
राम
Lord Sri
नाम
Ram
भव
can
बंधन मुक्त करा देता है, राम नाम
break
भव
the
बंधन
bondage
मुक्त
of
करा
this
देता है। वो
material
पंडित
world.
सोता है, पिंजरे
So
में
this
बैठे बैठे
parrot,
सब सुन रहा है।
who is in the cage, he's listening to all of
वो भी
this
राम नाम ले रहा है,
conversation,
राम राम ले
and
रहा है,
he is also
कोई भी
taking the
दिक्कत
holy
नहीं।
names of Lord Sri Ram, but he is still trapped.
पंडित जी सातवें दिन कथा समाप्त करके
Then
जब जा रहे थे तो
when
तोता कहा
the
कि
Brahmana
पंडित
was
जी
about to
बैठा है,
conclude
पंडित जी
the
बैठा
katha
है,
on the seventh day, he
पंडित जी
said,
बैठा है।
the parrot said,
पंडित
this,
जी
this
बता रहे
spiritual
थे
master is a
कि मैं
liar.
कथा गाकर जा रहा हूँ,
He
तो
said
उल्टा जुल्टा बोल रहा है, मेरा
that
नाम
I have
भव
sung the
बंधन
glories
छुड़ा
of
देता है।
Bhagavatam for 7 days, and now you're
मुझे
accusing
प्रॉब्लम
me
क्या है?
of being a
मेरे
liar.
निकट आओ।
What is your problem? He said, you come near
फिर
me.
उस पिंजरे के
So
निकट गए।
the Brahmana
बोले
went
क्या
near
प्रॉब्लम
to
है?
the parrot and he
बोले
said,
आप कहते
what
हो
is it? He said
कि
that you
राम नाम
say
से भव बंधन
by
खुल जाता है,
chanting the holy names of the
राम
Lord,
नाम
we
से
will escape the
भव
bondage
बंधन
of
खुल जाता
repeated
है।
birth and death.
मैं इतना
So by
अच्छा
taking the
नाम
holy
जप
names
रहा
of the
हूँ,
Lord,
भव बंधन
if
छोड़ो, ये
the
पिंजरे
material,
का बंधन भी नहीं खुला।
although you're
भव
saying
बंधन तो
that
बहुत
the
बड़ी चीज है,
material
पिंजरे का
world's
बंधन भी नहीं
bondage
खुला।
can be lost, but I'm
तो कहाँ
even
क्यों
unable to
छूटे हो?
be
तब उस
unbounded
पंडित
by
जी ने बहुत सुंदर बात
this
कही।
cage. So that
ये
Brahmana
सच
said a
है
very beautiful point that
कि
this is
राम नाम
true,
से भव
that
बंधन
by
खुल
chanting the
जाता
holy
है,
names of the Lord,
लेकिन वो राम नाम गुरु के
you
सानिध्य में रहकर लेना
will be
चाहिए।
able to break the cycle of repeated birth and
बिना
death
गुरु
in
के
this
आज्ञा
material
के
world,
कोई भगवत नाम
but
फल देता है,
it should
सिद्धांत
be
देता है,
under the guidance of a
लेकिन भव
spiritual
बंधन
master.
से मुक्त नहीं
Although
करता
it
है।
will, without the mercy of a spiritual master, it will give
कहाँ
you
खोजने जाऊं,
mercy,
कौन सा डिसाइपल कोर्स करूं, कहाँ से
patience,
सर्टिफिकेट लेके जाऊं, कहाँ
and peace,
पढ़ने
but
जाऊं,
it will not
तो
give you the
कहाँ
100%
बोलूं
result
गुरुजी आज से
of
आप
breaking the
बन गए
cycle
गुरु,
of
मैं
birth and
आपका
death.
चेला
So
हूं,
he said that where will I go now
आप
in search of a spiritual master? So please become,
पक्का?
you become my spiritual master. He said,
मित्र
are
ने
you
पूछा
sure?
हाँ बिल्कुल पक्का।
So he confirmed that
जब
yes,
दीक्षा
you should
मिली
be my spiritual master. So when he was
तो उन्होंने
initiated,
गुरु मंत्र दिया।
then the parrot was
बोलो क्या?
given the Guru mantra
गुरुजी ने कान में दिया।
in his
मंत्र
ear.
क्या था?
And what was
देख
the Guru mantra?
तू है
He
ना
said,
कल मरने का नाटक करना,
you should tomorrow behave
2 टाइम उपवास कर लेना,
behave as if you're dead.
वरना मरने
Just
से पहले
fast for
तेरा
2 times
फिर
and
भव
you
बंधन
just
टूट
behave as if
जाएगा।
you're dead and see how you
दूसरे दिन
become free.
वो तोता
So the second
जब
day,
उसका मालिक ने देखा मरा हुआ पड़ा है,
the
सांस रोकी हुई
master
हड्डी बन गई, सांस रोक नहीं
saw
सकता,
that he's dead.
खाना
He
खींच
has
रहा है, पी रहा है, फिर
stopped
भी बंद है,
breathing. His eyes are
समझ गया
closed. He's not
कि
eating
लगता है
anything.
इसकी उम्र खत्म हो गई
So
होगी और
the
मरने की
master
घड़ी
thought that
उसकी आ गई
maybe he
होगी।
is dead.
पिंजरा
So
खोला,
now
मालिक
what?
ने
Why
कहा
should I
कहीं
keep
दूर
him?
न
So
चले
he
जाए,
just
मालिक यहाँ घर पर तो था
kept it
पर वो
outside
उड़ गया।
from the cage, and immediately he flew.
सो भगवत नाम लेते हुए भी मुक्ति नहीं
So,
हुई, लेकिन जब गुरु
so
का
while
आश्रय किया,
taking the holy names of the Lord,
ये
he was
शास्त्र
not
जो है ना,
freed,
इसका
but
गूढ़ रहस्य
After taking the shelter of the spiritual master, he became free. So the pastimes of the Lord are secretive and confidential, and the spiritual master guides us and opens the door of, and he has the key to understand all these deep secretive pastimes of the Lord. And once he opens the door, we are able to open the windows on our own accord. Therefore, Shivji is saying that the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram are intense, deep, secretive, but if we listen them under the guidance of a spiritual master, we will be able to understand them. So let's, with love and emotion and remembering our spiritual master, we will perform the congregational chanting and then we will proceed further to the pastime.
जय जय नवल किशोर, जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभु, जय जय माखन चोर, जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान के, श्री रामचंद्र भगवान के, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद के। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी
Hare Krishna, I welcome all the loving devotees of Bhagavatam, all the devotees attendees. I also want to extend my warm welcome and gratitude to the senior devotees, Vaishnavas. I also welcome you all who have gathered through all the parts of the world through the medium of Facebook, YouTube, etc. All the listeners, attendees, and with their loving heart to celebrate the celebration of 80th birthday. So this beautiful Bhagavatam Katha has been organized. Shri Pushpa Tala Mataji and her whole family, Jagannath Shetty ji, TJ Geeta Mataji, Sairam Prasad, Dev Prasad, Shiv Kumar, Umaji, Sharan, Shalpa. I welcome you all on the 6th day of this Bhagavatam Katha once more, and please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. Jai Siya Ram. So you should speak loudly as 2 days are only remaining. So we are extremely fortunate that the most pious, the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram, which gives us the pure devotional service, and we are listening to the same, and under that we are listening to the Aranya Khan. So the pastimes that are that happened in this Aranya Khan, we all are listening. So far we have heard how Lord Sri Ram is roaming in this Aranya or forest, And while doing the same, he
और
is
साधु संतों को अपने दर्शन और मिलन का
destroying
सौभाग्य
the
दे रहा है।
evildoers, and he is giving his direct audience to great sages and saints. So far we have heard that Lord Sri Ram
मिले हैं।
has met Sutikshna ji,
कहते हैं
and
मुनि
it is
अगस्त
said
कर शिष्य सुजाना नाम सुतीक्षण रति भगवाना मन क्रम वचन राम पद सेवक सपने हूं आन भरोसन देवक। अगस्त ऋषि के शिष्य है
so
सुतीक्ष्ण जी
he is the disciple of Agastya Muni, and he is introduced as
कर शिष्य सुजाना।
the Sujana.
सुजान माने सुलझे हुए,
So that means a person who is not
सुलझे हुए भक्त।
complicated.
और हम लोग
So he is an
बड़े
uncomplicated devotee,
भक्त हैं।
and we all are complicated devotees.
इसकी कथा सुने कि इसकी कथा
So
सुने,
whether we should listen to him
इसका तो
or
मना
the
किया है,
so we have
ऐसा
been
नहीं
told
करना
not to
है,
listen to
इसको
him.
फॉलो करना
We
है।
should not
अरे
listen to
फॉलोवर
him
मत
or
बनो,
follow him.
फ्लावर बनो।
You should not be
भगवान
the follower but a
फॉलोवर
flower.
को पसंद नहीं करते, फ्लावर को बहुत पसंद करते हैं।
The Lord loves the flowers rather than
अगस्त
followers.
ऋषि के ये शिष्य सुतीक्ष्ण जी
So the disciple of
सुजान थे,
Agastya Muni, this
सुलझे
Tikshna
हुए,
ji, was an
सच्चे भक्त।
uncomplicated,
सच्चे भक्त यही
simple
पहचान
devotee,
है,
and that is
अपने
the
जीवन में बड़े सुलझे हुए होते हैं।
characteristic of a great devotee, that they are very
भगवान के
simple
सिद्धांत को बड़े
and
सुलझ जाए, सरल रूप से प्रस्तुत करते हैं।
they portray the principles of devotional service in such a manner
सरल,
that they are
simple।
uncomplicated. The Sant implies saral, that is
राम
simple.
जी का मिलन हुआ,
So he was very simple, and he met Ramji,
और जब
as we
राम जी
have
ने कृपा की,
heard yesterday vividly.
कृष्ण जी ने कहा कि आप मेरे गुरु जी
So
को दर्शन दीजिए।
then he requested Lord Ram to give an
क्योंकि श्री
audience to
कृष्ण जी
his
के गुरु
spiritual
थे
master,
अगस्त्य ऋषि।
because his master
आपने
was
सुना
Agastya Muni, and
किस
we
प्रकार
heard yesterday that
श्री कृष्ण
how
जी को शालिग्राम
Agast
की सेवा
Muni
दी थी।
has given him to serve Shaligram Shrilaji,
बह गई,
and by
उन्होंने
mistake
निकाल दिया, निकालने
he
का तो
went
बहाना था
he-
भक्तों।
drawn in the
श्री
Ganga
कृष्ण जी
ji,
का
and
मन
it was just an
भगवान में
excuse
तीव्रता से लग जाए,
so that he
इसीलिए
could focus
ये
more
अगस्त ऋषि ने
on
अपने शिष्य
the
को
Lord.
निषिद्ध किया था।
That is why his spiritual master
ऐसे ही
scolded him
जब
and
से गुरुजी ने निकाला, तब से उनका
told
मन
him to
बड़ी
get out
तीव्रता
of
से
the
भगवान में लगा।
hermitage. And
और
as
इसीलिए
he was
गुरुजी
thrown
से
out of the
पहले
hermitage,
शिष्य
he
को
became
भगवान
more
मिल गए।
focused on the Lord, and
भगवान शिष्य के
prior
पास
to
गए,
even meeting the spiritual
और
master,
अब
the
सुतीक्ष्ण जी
disciple attained the Lord. And
भगवान को
now
अपने गुरु अगस्त
Sutikshna
ऋषि के
ji
पास लेकर जा रहे हैं।
is taking
अगस्त ऋषि
him
कौन है?
to his spiritual master
अगस्त ऋषि के
Agastya
विषय
Muni.
में कहें,
So who is
अगस्त
Agastya Muni?
ऋषि वायु और अग्नि के अवतार है।
He is an incarnation of
अगस्त
the
ऋषि का विवाह
god of air and
विराटराज की
fire,
कन्या लोक मुद्रा के साथ हुआ है।
and he was
अगस्त
married
जी
with
की पत्नी
Lok
का नाम क्या
Mudra.
है? लोक मुद्रा।
His wife is
अगस्त जी के
Lokamudra,
फादर इन लॉ ससुर जी कौन है?
and his father-in-law is who?
विंध्यराज।
Vindhyaraj.
अगस्त जी के पिता कौन?
And who is his father?
नहीं, अगस्त जी का जन्म घड़े से हुआ है।
He was
घड़ा
born
मतलब लोटा,
in a pot.
क्योंकि इसका जन्म घड़े से हुआ,
As he was
इसलिए
born
इसको कुंभज भी कहते
from the
हैं।
pot, that is why he is
अगस्त्य
also
का
referred to
मतलब
as
अगस्त्य,
Kumbhaj.
और
Kumbha
कुंभज,
means the pot
कुंभज का अर्थ होता है कुंभ,
or the lota.
कुंभ माने घड़ा,
So,
और ज माने
so
जल।
the earthen pot, and to
जिसका
take
जन्म
birth
कुंभ से होता
from
है,
that is
इसलिए
Ja.
इसे कुंभज
So
कहते
because he
हैं।
was born from that earthen pot,
और
that is
अगस्त्य
why he
नाम
is
है,
also addresses
पासपोर्ट
Kumbhaj, and he is
अगस्त,
also
इसका
addresses
नाम
Agast.
अगस्त्य है, और इनके गुण के अनुसार इनका नाम है
And
कुंभज।
according to his qualities, he has
बहुत
acquired
सुंदर
his name Kumbhaj as well.
अगस्त्य जी के
So
विषय
very
में कहा जाता
beautifully
है
it is
कि
said
इनका
about him
जन्म हुआ घड़े
that
से, राइट?
he was born from the
घड़े
earthen
से जन्म
pot.
हुआ, तो अगस्त्य जी के विषय में एक कहावत बन गई
And there is a saying
कि किसी व्यक्ति का
that
जन्म छोटे
even if someone is born from a small or a low class family, then we should not think that they will never ever become great, no matter how small family you belong. But if a person wants, he can rule the whole world. And the living example is Kumbhaj Muni. So, although he was born in an earthen pot, but yet one day he drank the whole water of the ocean. A person who was born from an earthen pot drank the whole ocean. So, no matter if we are poor or from a low class family, but how great our deeds are that are more important than our birth. So, in Ramayana, it is just indicated, but in Puranas, it has been revealed elaborately that once all the demons fought with the demigods and they have the technique. What they used to do was they used to beat the demigods, and when they were about to beat them back, then they used to hide in the ocean. So, and they used to do this again and again. Whenever the demigods wanted to attack them back, they used to hide in the ocean. So, so they were taking the shelter and hiding in the ocean, and the demigods got agitated and they came to Agastya Muni. They said that, oh, ma, this they will not leave us at peace. They said that whenever we go to beat them or attack them, they just go and hide in the ocean and they are protecting themselves under the ocean. The Agastya Muni said that, don't worry, I will drink the whole ocean. And he came at the banks of the ocean and he drank the whole water. So they were all hiding there. So now, when he drank the whole water, all of these demons were visible. So, this is that Agastya Muni who was born from his earthen pot, but he was capable to drink the whole ocean water. So now he has drunk, and all the demons are killed by the demigods. So now, what are we supposed to do? So, on behest of the demigods, he brought it out from his body. So, when he drank it, it was the pure water. But when it came out, it became salty. And this is one of the reasons that the ocean water is salty, because he drank it, and when he took it out from his body, it became saltier. So, in this manner, he is a transcendental and his works are divine. And such Agastya Muni is who, to perform devotion, congregational chanting, Devadidev Mahadev leaves Kailash mountain to listen the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram and Bhagavatam. The beginning of Ramayana starts from there.
एक बार ताजुग माही शंभु गए कुंभजरी सिपाही शंभु गए कुंभजरी सिपाही। अकेले गए नहीं, ये संग सती जग जननी भवानी संग सती जग जननी भवानी पूजे ऋषि अखिलेश्वर जानी, पूजे ऋषि अखिलेश्वर। राम कथा मुनिवर्ज बखानी। अगस्त ऋषि कुंभज ऋषि ने राम कथा मुनिवर्ज बखानी, और सुनी महेश परम सुख मानी। सुनी महेश परम सुख मानी। जिनके मुख से राम कथा सुनकर शिव जी को भी आनंद आता है।
So Lord Shiva enjoys to listen the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram through Kapil Muni or Agast Munis or Kumbhaj Rishi. And Ramji, he has this desire to meet Lord Sri Ram, and Sutikshna ji is coming to Kumbhaj Muni to meet him with Lord Sri Ram. So Kumbhaj Rishi sings the glories of Lord Sri Ram, and Shivji heard the pastimes of Lord Sri Ram. So who listens to the pastimes of the Lord, he got an audience with the Lord on the way. So he had to go to meet the Lord. But Kumbhaj Rishi sings the glories of Lord Sri Ram, and they need not to go to meet the Lord, but the Lord himself comes and gives his audience. So Lord Sri Ram himself walks down to the hermitage of Kumbhaj Muni with Sutikshna, and Agast Rishi welcomes him in a grand manner. And it is said,
राम तुम जगदीश माया जानकी। हे राम, आप श्रुति सेतु पालक, धर्म के पालक हो।
he says, O Ram, you are the protector of the religious principles and scriptures. You are the maintainer and protector of the whole universe. And your energy, internal energy or potency is Mother Sita. So one day Ramji stayed in the hermitage or cottage of Agast Muni, and they had a great conversation or interaction, and Agast Muni gave him weapons that could kill demons like Ravana. So specially he gave one arrow. So whenever we do this Lanka Kand, that time when Ramji was killing Ravana, he was getting distressed because Ravana was not getting killed no matter what. His arms used to reattach, his legs used to reattach, his heads used to reattach themselves. Then Valmiki Rishi mentions there that Agastya Muni had given him a special arrow, and now Ramji put that bow on his sarang. So he put that arrow on his bow sarang and killed Lord the demon Ravana. So I just want to say, if you meet a sage or a saint, whether you are a warrior or a Vaishya or anything, you will never be in a loss. Somewhere it will benefit you in some manner. Ramji was a brave heart, he was a warrior king, and the arrow given by Agast Muni was used to kill Ravana. So the next day they were to leave, and they bow down and request Agast Muni that, oh spiritual master, oh, Muniva,
और
we
इस
have got
14
this
वर्ष के
exile of
वनवास में
14 years
हमने 13
and
वर्ष समाप्त कर लिए हैं।
we have finished or completed 13
13
years,
वर्षों में
but
हमने हमारा ही
in these
किया है।
13 years, we have just
हमें
done
हमारू કરી લીધું છે,
whatever was
નકર
required
ખોટા
for
છે।
ourselves.
हाँ?
So,
हमने
as
हमारा
some
કરી
people say
લીધું,
that we have done everything for,
अब अपना
so
तो सब
you have
कुछ
done
अपनी लिया
whatever to
रहती है,
go
कुत्ते
to
भी अपने लिए
hell.
काम करते हैं।
Even the
राम जी
dogs
अगस्त
work for
ऋषि को क्या
themselves.
कहता है
So,
कि
Ramji
इस
tells
पिछले
Agastya
13
Muni,
साल में
these
हमने
last
हमारा
13
किया,
years, we have
लेकिन अभी
done
वनवास का
everything
जो
for
आखिरी
ourselves.
साल बचा है,
But now only
और इस
1 year
एक
is
साल में
remaining.
मुझे धरती को असुर
And
विहीन
in this
बनाना है।
1 year, I
इस
want
धरती के
the
गोलों को
earth to be
असुर शून्य
devoid
बनाना
of the
है,
demons.
राक्षस शून्य धरती को बनाना
I
है।
want to eradicate all the
अब कृपया
demons
मुझे
from
आज्ञा
this earth.
कीजिए
So please
कि ऐसा कौन
give
सा
me
स्थान है
an
जहां
order
जाकर
and
मैं
place
इस
where
मेरे कार्य को,
I
उद्देश्य को
can
पूर्ण कर
go
सकूं।
to fulfill my goal.
इतना सुनते ही
By listening to
अगस्त
that,
ऋषि गदगद हो गए
Agast Muni
और
became
अगस्त ऋषि
overwhelmed
कहते हैं,
and he
राम जी
says
आप क्या
or
बोल
replies,
रहे हो?
he said, "Oh Lord Ram, what
आप
are
मुझे
you
पूछ रहे
saying?
हो कि आपको
You're
कहाँ
asking
रहना
me
चाहिए?
that where you should reside?
महाराज भ्रिकुटी भंग
O
मात्र से
king,
काल के काल
by
का भी
just
नाश करने वाले को मैं
a
बताऊं
glance of your
कि
eyes,
आपको
you can
राक्षसों को कैसे मारना चाहिए,
destroy the whole
कैसे
material
मारना
universe. So,
चाहिए, कहाँ
am I
रहना
going to
चाहिए?
guide you
मेरी
that where
क्या
you should
औकात
reside
है,
and where you should
मेरी क्या
go
लायकात है
and
कि
kill
मैं
the
आपको
demons?
बताऊं?
I have no
लेकिन
qualification
फिर भी
to
आप स्वतंत्र
suggest you or
ईश्वर हो,
counsel you, but
आपके
you are
कहने का
independent,
पालन मैं
Lord.
करूं
And if I
तो भी
don't
मेरी हानि होगी,
follow your order or
इसलिए
request, then
आपने
I
पूछा है
will be
तो
harmed.
आपके
So,
प्रताप से,
as you
आपके
have
प्रभाव
asked,
से मैं
and by
आपसे
your
यही निवेदन
potency,
करूंगा
I will just request you
कि राम जी आप
that,
दंडकारण्य
oh
वन
Lord
में
Ram,
जाओ।
you should go to Dandak Aranya
दंडकारण्य वन जहाँ पर
one,
गोदावरी नदी बहती है
where on the
और
river
गोदावरी नदी
Godavari
पर
flows, and on the
पंचवटी
banks of
नामक स्थान
Godavari,
है।
there is a place called
यह
Panchavati,
पंचवटी स्थान महात्माओं के
and
श्राप से
because of the
क्योंकि
curse
वहां पर
of the
वसंत ऋतु नहीं आती,
sages, it has
उस
become
पंचवटी
barren,
के सारे
and there is
वृक्ष सूख
never
गए हैं। तो
the rainy
आपके
season there,
पतित चरणों के
and
प्रभाव से
all the wells
उस
and water
महात्माओं
sources
के
have
श्राप
dried.
का शमन करो
And
और उस
please go
पंचवटी को
and
पुनः
with
वसंत
your
में
lotus
बसाओ।
feet,
आप
you
पंचवटी जाओ।
recreate
इस
the
प्रकार
rainy season there
अगस्त ऋषि ने
and
निवेदन किया,
decorate that
आप
forest.
दंडकारण्य गोदावरी
And
पंचवटी
in
जाओ।
this manner, Agast Muni
राम
or
जी
Kumbhaj
अगस्त ऋषि
Muni
को प्रणाम
requested
करके उसके
him to go
आशीर्वाद
to
लेकर
Panchavati. So Ramji took
पंचवटी
his
की ओर
blessings
बढ़ते हैं।
after going down and
चलते
he
चलते चलते राम जी
moves towards Panchavati. So while walking
नए
on the way,
गीधराज जटायु से भेंट होती है।
he meets the
तो
eagle
एक लाइन
king
में गोस्वामी तुलसीदास
Jatayu.
जी ने
So in
सुनाया
one
है,
line, Goswami Tulsidas ji mentions,
गीधराज से भेंट भई बहुविधि प्रीति बढ़ाई, गीध राज से भेंट भई बहुविधि प्रीति बढ़ाई, गोदावरी के निकट प्रभु रहे परण गृह छाई, रहे परन गृह छाई। गीधराज से भेंट भई। राम जी गीधराज
the
जटायु
Ramji met
और
the king
जटायु
of
को
the
देखकर
eagles,
राम
that
जी
is
ने गीधराज
Jatayu,
को पिताजी कहकर प्रणाम
and
किया।
on meeting him,
आप विचार
he
करो उस समय
bowed
जटायु
down
को
and addressed him as the father.
कितना
Just
हर्ष और
imagine
उछाल हुआ
how
होगा।
much ecstasy
गीधराज जटायु को
Gidhraj
पिताजी कहते हैं,
Jatayu would have
प्रणाम
felt
करते हैं।
on listening
राम जी
or
ने प्रणाम
hearing
किया,
that.
देख सीताजी ने
So
प्रणाम किया,
when
लक्ष्मण जी
Ramji
ने
bowed
प्रणाम
down,
किया।
even Sita ji and Lakshman ji bowed down in respect of Jatayu.
और बहुविधि
And
प्रीति बढ़ाई, जटायु के हृदय में बहुत प्रेम हुआ। राम जी
Jatayu was
जटायु को
overwhelmed with
प्रेम किया।
love for the Lord.
जटायु कौन है?
So who is
दरअसल
Jatayu?
ये गीध है।
Although he
गीध
is
को
an
कोई अच्छा
eagle
पक्षी नहीं माना जाता,
and is not considered a very
लेकिन
good
फिर भी
bird, but
राम
still
के प्रेम का पात्र
he became a
कारण
beloved of Lord Sri Ram, and the reason being
कश्यप जी की अनेकों पत्नियां थीं,
Kashyap Muni had
उनमें से एक पत्नी का नाम
many
था
wives,
विनीता।
and one of them
और
was
विनीता
Vinita,
के दो पुत्र हुए,
and Vinita had two
अरुण
sons,
और अरुण।
Garud and Arun.
अरुण के दो पुत्र, गरुड़ तो आप जानते ही हैं, गरुड़ और अरुण,
Uh,
अरुण के दो पुत्र हुए।
So Arun also had two
उसमें से
sons.
बड़े थे संपाति
The first
और
was
छोटे
Sampati,
पुत्र थे जटायु।
and the younger one was Jatayu.
ये संपाति और जटायु दोनों भाई थे।
So they both were brothers and the sons of Arun.
इनके गुण, साहस, पराक्रम और बल को
So their
इनके इतिहास से
strength
समझा जा सकता है।
and courage
जब
can be understood
संपाति
by
और
this
जटायु भाई
pastime.
दोनों ने
Once
कंपटीशन, शर्त लगाई।
Sampati and
क्या
Jatayu
शर्त लगाई? बोले
took
सूर्य को
a
पहले कौन छूकर वापस आता है,
vow that who will go and
दोनों
touch
की
the
परीक्षा
sun
हो
first.
गई।
So they
एक,
both
दो, तीन करके दोनों ने उड़ान भरी।
jumped into the
उड़ते
competition
उड़ते उड़ते सूरज
and
के निकट पहुंचे।
they went near the sun.
जटायु जी ने देखा कि सूर्य का गोला दूर से तो ठीक है, निकट से देखा
Jatayu
तो ये ताप
realized that
अग्नि की तरह जल
the
रहा है।
sun is burning like fire.
देखिए,
From far it
भुजाओं
is
में बल
okay.
होना चाहिए,
So we should have
शक्ति होनी चाहिए,
strength
लेकिन
in
शक्ति के
our
साथ साथ दिमाग
arms,
भी काम करना
but we
चाहिए,
should have our brain
क्योंकि
also.
बल से काम नहीं चलता,
Just by
बुद्धि भी होनी
force
चाहिए।
or inner strength, we
बुद्धिमानी का
cannot do
फल है
anything.
बल,
So we
बुद्धि
should
और धर्म
have
निधान। बल के साथ
brain
बुद्धि
as
भी
well or
जरूरी है।
intelligence as well. So with strength, we should have
तो जटायु
intelligence
जी
as
में
well.
बल और बुद्धि दोनों था, वो चाहे तो सूर्य तक पहुंच
So
सकते थे, लेकिन सूर्य में अग्नि है, ताप है, ये सोच
Jatayu
करके वो
was
पंख
able
जल
to go,
जाएंगे,
but
उसने यू टर्न ले
after
लिया।
thinking
अपने
that
सगे भाई
my
के साथ यदि हार
feathers
गया
will
तो उसमें
burn,
कौन सा बड़ा गुनाह
so
होगा।
he came back. And if
तो
even
फिर
if
भी एक
lose
अपना
from my
बुद्धि इस्तेमाल करके
brother,
आगे
then
बढ़े
that's
थे,
not a
लेकिन
big great
संपाति
deal.
नहीं,
But
मैं तो
Sampati
सूर्य को छूऊंगा तो छू
thought
लेना।
that I will go and
जब
touch the
संपाति
sun,
सूर्य को छूने गए तो
and
उनकी
he
पंख
went
जल गई,
for, and his feathers got
और सूर्य
burnt,
को छूने से पंख जली और धड़ाम करके धरती पर
and he
गिरे
fall
और
down,
वहीं के
fell
वहीं रह
down
गए।
at the ground, and he remained there.
सो इस प्रकार से जटायु जी के विषय में राम
So
जी
in regards to
एक
Jatayu,
विभिन्नता
it is
आपने
said
यहाँ पर देखा।
that Ramji has
ज्ञानराज संपन्न
addressed
भई,
him
जानकी
as
थी प्रीत बड़ी।
father, as you can see in this verse,
राम जी ने बड़े प्रेम से भाव से जटायु
with
जी को
very
अपना पिता कहा। क्यों? ध्यान से
with
सुनिए।
love he has addressed him
ये
as
उन
his
समय की
father.
बात है जिन
So
दिनों राम
listen
जी का
carefully.
जन्म भी नहीं
So
हुआ था।
these are the times when even Rama was
महाराज
not
दशरथ
born
का
yet.
शासन चल रहा था,
It was the kingdom
और
of
महाराज दशरथ
King
जी
Dashrath,
एक बार देखे अपने राज्य
and
में
Dashrath
कि
saw in his
दुष्काल
kingdom
है।
that the time
दशरथ
was
के राज्य में
inept
सब लोग
and there
सूखे
was
जा
a
रहे थे, मरे
drought.
जा रहे थे।
People were dying because of the
दशरथ जी ने
same.
अपने मंत्री को बुलाया, अनेक
He called
ज्योतिषी
his
ब्रह्मचारी
ministers
को बुलाया, कहा
and
भाई
astrologers and brahmanas that how to remedy
तब
this
उन
situation.
ऋषियों ने दशरथ जी को
So the
कहा
astrologers told him
ये शनि देवता का प्रकोप है, ये
this is because
शनि
of
देव
the
कृतिका नक्षत्र के अंत में
at the end of Kritika
रोहिणी नक्षत्र
Nakshatra,
को भेद कर आगे
and
जाने वाले हैं,
Shani is going to come
और
forward, and
12
because of
वर्ष तक
that,
दुष्काल होगा।
for 12 years there will be
संपूर्ण
a
भारतवर्ष
drought
तक
on this
दुष्काल
earth,
मचेगा।
and the people will be distressed because of the same
तब राजा
for 12
दशरथ
years.
सोचते हो तो ये
So
ग्रह
King
की
Dashrath
प्रॉब्लम
thinks that
है।
this is the problem of the planet.
देखो ये ग्रह की दशा सबकी दशा
So
बिगाड़
this
देती है,
planetary
ये
position
ग्रह
can
किसी को नहीं छोड़ते
distress
हैं,
anyone, and
इसे
they don't leave
ठुकराया नहीं
anyone.
जा सकता।
So we cannot reject the same.
लेकिन
But
शास्त्र में लिखा है
it is
कि ये
mentioned in the
ग्रह किसको
scriptures
नड़ते हैं और किसको
that
नहीं नड़ते।
these
विष्णु
planets
पुराण
disturb whom and whom not,
237वें
or
अध्याय
whom
के
are not
17वें
affected.
श्लोक में निवेदन किया गया
So it is mentioned in
कि
the
ये ग्रह
scriptures
किसको नहीं
that
नड़ते हैं।
those who
वहां
are
फिर
not
से इस श्लोक में कहते
distressed
हैं
by these planets, it is mentioned in this verse beautifully.
संपूजनम देव गुरु द्विजानाम भक्ति पराचक्र गदाधरस्य संपूजनम, सम माने सम्यक रूप से, कंप्लीटली,
Sampujan means completely.
ग्रह किसको नहीं
So,
नड़ते हैं?
who are not disturbed by the planetary position.
ने किसी
So,
ज्योतिष
if
ने
an
कहा
astrologer
आपको
have
कोई
said that
ग्रह नड़ रहा है,
this planet is
अगर
affecting
आपको भी
you,
ग्रहों को नड़े ऐसे है मैं तो ये कहूंगा आप लोग ग्रह को मत नड़िएगा,
I would tell you
हमारे
that
भी
please
नड़ेगा,
don't
लेकिन फिर भी कोई ग्रह के टेंशन
affect
में
the
है
planet.
कि
But if
ग्रह नहीं
some
नड़
people,
रहा है,
someone has
शनि की
this distress
दशा
of planetary
चल रही
position,
है या मंगल नड़ रहा है,
that the Mercury
तो
or
यदि ग्रह
Saturn
में
is not
प्रॉब्लम है तो
appropriate,
विष्णु धर्मोत्तर में
then
कहते हैं
in Vishnu Dharmottara it is
संपूजनम
mentioned
सम्यक रूप से जो पूजा करता है
Sampujanam, that is
किसकी?
completely who
देव
worships who? Dev, that is demigods.
गुरुजनों
Guru
का,
means the spiritual
द्विजानाम
masters,
ब्राह्मणों का,
Dvijanam Brahmanas,
और भक्ति
and
परा चक्र गदाधरस्य, ध्यान से, और भक्ति करता है
who
किसकी?
performs honorary devotional service
चक्र
of whom?
गदाधरस्य,
Chakra
चक्र धारण
Gadadharasya.
करते हैं, जो
So
गदा
the
धारण करते
one
हैं,
who carries
शंख
the
चक्र गदा पद्म
discus
धारण करते हैं, उस
and
भगवान
club.
विष्णु की जो
So
भक्ति
thus
करता
Lord
है
Vishnu,
बाबू,
the one who.
बाबा बंगाली की बात नहीं हो रही है,
So we are not talking about any
चक्र
Bapu,
गदाधरस्य,
etc. But
चक्रपाणी,
clearly it is mentioned Chakrapani, that
वो
is
भगवान
the
विष्णु की जो भक्ति करता है,
one who
और
carries
शनि
the
कैसी
club
हमारे जैसी आयरा
and
गैरा में
discus
नहीं,
and not
ऋषभ
devotional service like us,
भक्ति, शुद्ध भक्ति,
but para, that is
प्योर भक्ति,
pure, unalloyed devotional service towards
संपूजनम
Lord
जो
Vishnu.
गुरु द्विजानाम, जो देवता गुरु और ब्राह्मणों की पूजा करता है और
So those
भगवान
who
विष्णु की भक्ति करता
worship
है,
demigods,
ये शाम
spiritual masters,
तेषाम
and
भावयते,
brahmanas and perform
उन लोगों
unalloyed,
को
pure
देवता
devotional service towards the
बाधित
Lord.
नहीं करता है, क्या?
So they are
ग्रहों
not at all
ग्रहों से
deterred or
उत्पन्न होने
disturbed
वाली
by
भूमिपति
the
भगवान, ग्रहों से उत्पन्न होने वाली जो दशा है,
problems or
दुर्दशा है,
conditions that
वो उन
arise
लोगों को
because
इफेक्ट
of
नहीं
the
करती,
planetary
जो
positions.
गुरु साधु और
So
भक्तों
he
की
remains
पूजा करते हैं
unaffected
और
by the
भगवान
same.
विष्णु की भक्ति करते हैं। लेकिन वो भक्ति कैसी, मैंने फिर से कहा,
But
हम लोग
as I
कहेंगे
told
कोई
you,
ग्रह नहीं
what
नड़े,
kind of devotional service?
यदि
That is
पराभक्ति
pure.
होनी चाहिए,
The devotional
परा
service should
शुद्ध
be
भक्ति।
pure
फिर
devotional
आगे कहते
service.
हैं
Further,
अगले श्लोक
it
में,
is added in the
रिपवस्त्रं
verse,
न हिंसति न बाधते ग्रहश्चतम राक्षसाश्च चेक्षन्ते नरम विष्णु परायणम, जो विष्णु परायण है, जिसके
those who
भगवान
are
विष्णु में है,
dedicated or fully surrendered to Lord Vishnu, whose life and soul is Lord Vishnu, Ram, Krishna, or who performs unalloyed devotional service to him. So for him, three things. He will never be killed by enemies,
और किसी भी प्रकार का
and he will be
उसे
untouched
नुकसान
by
नहीं हो
the
सकेगा,
planets. He will never be deterred or disturbed by them.
और
And
आसुरीश्च
Rakshasastic
प्रभावित
Chekshante.
नहीं करेगा,
And they will never be affected by demonic
परायणम,
qualities.
जो नर भगवान राम,
So
भगवान कृष्ण, भगवान विष्णु
those
का परायण,
who worship Lord
भक्ति
Ram,
करते हैं।
Krishna, or Vishnu,
लेकिन
they
महाराज
are
दशरथ के
unaffected.
राज्य में
But here,
शनि देव
King
की दशा
Dashrath,
बदली, दुर्दशा हुई,
the was
राजा
this
दशरथ ने कहा
problem
जो भी
of the
है
planet
मैं मेरी
Saturn,
प्रजा की रक्षा
and
करूंगा, मैं शनि
King
देव
Dashrath
का
said that
साथ
no
दूंगा।
matter what, I will
अब शनि
face
देवता यहाँ थोड़ी ना है,
Saturn. So
शनि
he
देवता तो
said that I
अंतरिक्ष
will
में है,
fight with him.
वो
So
अंतरिक्ष से बाहर है,
he
पृथ्वी
resides
से
in the
बहुत दूर।
spirit,
राजा
in the
दशरथ
spiritual
कैसे
sky.
सांसद, वो तो
So
दशरथ
it
था
was not difficult for
जिसका
Dashrath to go, because
शुद्ध
Dashrath
सामर्थ्य
means
होता था।
whose
ऐसे राजा दशरथ
chariot
रथ पर
can
सवार हुए
move in 10 directions. So
शनि
he
देवता से युद्ध करने के लिए
went to
धरती
fight
को
with
उड़े,
this
ऊपर
planet
जाते जाते
Saturn.
जाते जाते
And
आखिर
while
में
he was
क्या,
moving,
सबसे लास्ट में सूर्य ग्रह है,
so at the end
ऐसा
is
बीच में आता
the
है ग्रह,
sun planet.
सबसे
So there are
दूर
so many
सूर्य
other
है, तो
planets, but the
सूर्य को भी
farthest
पार
is
कर गए,
sun. So he crossed
सूर्य से भी
sun
दूर,
as well,
ऐसा कहते
and he
हैं
went
सूर्य
beyond. It
से
is said,
1.25 लाख योजन ऊपर
it
नक्षत्र
is said
मंडल
that
में चले गए,
1.5 lakh
और
above
रोहिणी नक्षत्र के पीछे
Yojan he above,
रहकर
and he
धनुष
stayed
में रस्सी
behind
को कान तक
Rohini
खींचे,
Nakshatra, and he took his
और
bow and attached the arrow to it, and he was about to attack the planet Saturn. But the vision of Shani or Saturn is so strong that his chariot burned to ashes in no time. The problem is not with Shani or planet Saturn, but because of his vision. But so therefore, some people are good to have an audience with, and some are not. So if you see, Saturn is not worthy of having his audience with. So earlier there was a ritual that all the demigods temples should be in the temple in the village, but the temple of Shani they used to be in secluded places. So Lord Sri Ram or Krishna is worthy to have an audience of, but Shani is not worthy of an audience. Imagine the chariot of Dashrathji burnt into ashes in no time and fall down. And Dashrathji also fell. So from that spiritual sky, he he fell. And what will happen at that time? Jatayu reached, and he took Dashrathji on his back, and then he flew on Jatayu, and from there he attacked. So after seeing his courage, he certain planet certain became satisfied, and he said that I'm really satisfied, so you can ask for any benediction. So King Dashrath said, from now onwards, you will never touch or come near Rohini Nakshatra. Because of that, my Ayodhya get affected. So Shani agreed, or the Saturn agreed, and he said that I will never do it. So this case was resolved, and Jatayuji brought Dashrathji back to Ayodhyapuri from the spiritual sky. So the place where the rockets go, beyond that, they went and they came back to earth. Then Dashrathji tells Jatayu, you are magnificent, benevolent. Because of you, not only I was protected, but my kingdom was protected, and we were saved from the glance of planet Saturn. So he said that you can ask for anything that you desire. Jatayu said that I don't desire anything. So, but he said that I don't require anything. But the king was persistent. So Jatayu said that do you have a son? So he said no, I don't have. So he said no worries. But in future, when you have a son, because you will have many sons, so your eldest brother should not be yours, but should be considered mine. So you are supposed to give your eldest son to me. So he said that the time has passed, and after marriage, but I have not yet got one son. So who knows when I will beget sons. So he promised that okay, whenever I have a son, I will give him to you. So he took the promise and he went away. On other hand, after some time, as you all are aware, Dashrathji went to his spiritual master and attained 4 sons. Lord Ram was born, and when Ramji came born, Jatayu came to take Lord Ram with him. He said that you remember your promise, your eldest son. You can keep the 3, but the eldest should be given to me. He said that just now he is born. He needs the milk and nourishment from the mother and care. So let him be little bigger. So when he was 5 year old, Jatayuji came back. He said that now he is old enough, so now you can give it to him. So he said that he has not yet gone to seek education, so he will go to the Gurukul and attain education. So when he was back, Then Jatayuji came back again and said, Dashrathji, you have promised me, so you should fulfill that. So now he has completed his education as well. He said that, so if you take him, so will he marry a eagle? So let him get married first. So Ram and Ramji got married, and after that he got this exile. So there was no situation to take Ramji with him. So Jatayuji was sitting in the forest, and Ramji came, and Ramji is all away. Just imagine that there is nobody far greater in following his promises and keeping the words. His, for the sake of his father's promise, Ramji has fulfilled that today and addressed Jatayuji as his father. And in the later parts, you will see that Ramji cremated or performed the last rites of Jatayuji, as Jatayuji has always considered Lord Sri Ram as his son. Sometimes people blame that Dashrathji's last rites were performed by Bharatji. According to Vedic injunctions and scriptures, after death, the final or last rites should be performed by the eldest son. So it should have been performed by Lord Sri Ram. Why did Bharat did the same? So if we see according to this pastime, so Dashrathji's eldest son was not the son of Dashrathji but of Jatayu, because even before he was born, he had promised that he will give his son to Jatayu. So the eldest son of Dashrathji is Bharat, and Ramji is the eldest son of, or the son of Jatayu. So further it is said, in many ways he engaged in loving relationship with Gidraj, and he
और फिर
did a
गोदावरी
very
निकट प्रभु
great paternal conversation with him, and then he stayed on the banks of river Godavari. Although there was no spring and rain, but on arrival of Ramji, Panchvati was blossoming with flowers, and the spring was there. As you can see, the backdrop, because of Govind TV, you can see beautiful flowers and leaves are falling, and the sages and saints have said that Panchvati also signifies that there are two things that we should learn. This Panchvati is our body that is created with the 5 elements. So our human form is created by 5 elements, and this itself is Panchvati. And it has been cursed because we are dying on a daily basis. Until the point in our life, Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Sita don't enter, till that time, we will never get the spring or rain in our life. And if we really want to have spring or rainy season in our life, then Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Sita should come or enter our heart. So Ram is or signifies knowledge, and Lakshman signifies renunciation, and Mother Sita, devotional service. So till the point we have these three, we will not have the loss, the spring. And this Ram, Lakshman, and Sita were sent by Agast Muni. So if Lord Ram, Lakshman, and Sita will come only by the mercy of the spiritual master and his mercy. When we will have knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service, then our life will become like a garden. It will be decorated with flowers. So Ramji, Lakshmanji, and Sitaji have arrived and they all are living here blissfully. But one time, Ram and Lakshman were sitting together and Lakshmanji asked a very beautiful question.
जैसे महाभारत में कृष्ण ने अर्जुन को भगवत गीता
As in Mahabharat, Krishna has spoken the Bhagavad Gita.
तो जैसे अर्जुन की जिज्ञासा से राम जी ने गीता सुनाई, वैसे रामायण में भी
Similarly,
वहां गीता सुनाई, वैसे
so there Krishna spoke the Gita. Similarly, Lakshmanji, on Lakshmanji's inquisitiveness, Ramji replies with a beautiful discourse on Bhagavad Gita. So there, Arjuna was a single listener, and here Lakshmanji is listening alone or in seclusion. So one day, when Ramji were sitting blissfully, and Lakshmanji asked a question. So for you also, if Tejas is satisfied, happy, then you should ask him question. He has traveled and he's tired and you're asking question. So he's thinking in his mind, then when will you feed me? So this is how we should ask a question. When was the question asked? When he saw that Ramji was in a blissful situation or he was satisfied. And at that time, Lakshmanji asked this
उस प्रश्न में कोई कपट नहीं था, मतलब छल कपट.
And how did he ask this question? Chalhina. So there was no deceit or conceit in that question. So Lakshmanji asked, he says, first and foremost, please tell me the difference between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that is Ishvara and Jeev or the living entity. And by which our life, our heart, mind and soul gets attached to the Lord and we get detached from the material sense gratification. So please tell us something about that. So before we listen to the answer of Ramji, we will listen to some information of upcoming programs and then we will proceed further.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद फिर से श्रीमान लाल गोविंद प्रभु जी को. तो बहुत सुंदर हम इस षष्ठम दिवस की कथा में श्रवण कर रहे हैं किस प्रकार प्रभु श्री राम इस अरण्य कांड के अंदर, इस प्रसंग के अंदर भगवान विचरण करते करते अगस्त्य ऋषि से और वहां पर मिलते हुए, उनके दर्शन करते हुए, उनसे भी सुंदर श्रवण करते हुए, उपदेश को लेते हुए कि भाई भगवान उनसे पूछते हैं कहाँ रहना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए. तो भगवान जाके जैसे स्वयं जानते हैं, क्योंकि वो स्वयं भगवान है, तो फिर भी एक गुरु, एक वैष्णव को वह किस प्रकार आदर करते हैं और उनसे किस प्रकार शिक्षा लेनी चाहिए. जैसे हमने बताया कि रामायण बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकल है. भगवान श्री राम अपने आचरण से ये चरितार्थ कर रहे हैं और हम सबको बता रहे हैं. कि एक जीव को एक भक्त को किस प्रकार भगवान के गुरु के अधीन रहकर भजन कार्य करना चाहिए। सो इसी प्रसंग को हम श्रवण करते हुए किस प्रकार प्रभु श्री राम चलते चलते गरुड़ जी से भेंट हुई, गिद्ध जी से, और बहुत सुंदर कुंभज ऋषि का बहुत सुंदर प्रसंग जहाँ पर देवता और असुरों का युद्ध हुआ था, और उसके पश्चात वहां पर उन्होंने उसका कुंभज ऋषि की सहायता से देवताओं ने असुर को हराया, और उसके पश्चात वो जो समुद्र का पानी है वो खारा हुआ। सो इस प्रकार यहाँ पर बहुत सुंदर प्रभु श्री राम के जो अनुज हैं लक्ष्मण जी, वो भगवान श्री राम से सुंदर जिज्ञासा कर रहे हैं, और हम सबको यहाँ पर इस जिज्ञासा के फल स्वरूप यह कथा श्रवण करने को मिल रही है। सो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद यहाँ पर कि हम भगवान श्री राम जी के इस सुंदर चरित्र को यहाँ पर श्रवण कर रहे हैं, और हमारे तालम परिवार का, विशेष हमारी पुष्पम माता जी का सुंदर ये अनुग्रह रहा है इस कथा में कि वे यह सुंदर कथा श्रवण कराए प्रभु जी, और साथ ही साथ हम जैसे लोगों को भी इसकी कृपा प्राप्त हो भगवान श्री राम की। तो बहुत सुंदर यहाँ पर भगवान ने अनेक अनेक लीला की है, परंतु उनमें से कुछ एक मन में एक प्रसंग के विषय में प्रभु जी बता रहे थे, जहाँ पर प्रभु जी ने बताया था एकांत के विषय में। तो एकांत के विषय में प्रभु जी ने बताया था कि एकांत का अर्थ क्या होता है। तो प्रभु जी ने बहुत सुंदर बताया था, अगर किसी को ज्ञात है, स्मरण है, तो आप हमें बता सकते हैं प्लीज। एकांत, तो हमारे पास दो भक्त ऐसे हैं जो, एक तो है नित्य लीला माता जी, जो कि नित्य अपना हाथ ऊपर करते हैं, जो भी प्रश्न हो तो उनको ज्ञात है और दो तीन भक्त हैं। इसका अर्थ यही नहीं है, मुझे पता है कि बहुत सभी भक्ति से जानते हैं, बट दे आर फीलिंग अशाई, बट कहीं ना कहीं बोलने से ये वह एक कृपा मिलती है भगवान की। तो निश्चित होकर हमें बोलना चाहिए, भगवान के विषय में बोलने से हमें कभी भी पीछे नहीं हटना चाहिए, चाहे सच हो या गलत हो, गलत हो फिर भी हमें प्रयास करना चाहिए, क्योंकि गलत होंगे तभी तो गुरु की कृपा मिलती है। अन्यथा अगर हमें सभी ज्ञात है तो देखा अभी कैसे हाथ एक के बाद एक खड़े हो रहे हैं तो मैं पूछना चाहूंगा, हमारे साथ में है मीरा माता जी। माता जी प्लीज अपना माइक ऑन करिए और बताइए हमारे अमृत चर्चा फैमिली को तथा हमारे फैमिली को, यूट्यूब फैमिली को, कि इस एकांत शब्द का अर्थ प्रभु जी ने क्या बताया। यस,
प्रणाम प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी एक्चुअली प्रभु जी ने कल की कक्षा में ये बताया था कि मतलब जो हम चाहे हजारों लोगों के बीच में बैठे हैं, लेकिन जो हमारा फोकस है अगर वो डाइवर्टेड नहीं है, मतलब जो हमारा लक्ष्य उसकी और ही है, तो वो भी एकांत है। लेकिन अगर अकेले में भी बैठ के अगर हम जिस चीज को वो करना चाहते हैं, अगर वहां तब भी हमारा मन भटक रहा है, तो वो एकांत भी बेकार है। तो इसलिए हमें अपनी इंद्रियों को ऐसे फोकस करना चाहिए कि जो इधर-उधर ना भटके, और हमारा जो मतलब गोल है वो बड़ा क्लियर होना चाहिए, और ताकि हमारा जो फोकस है वो मतलब कंसंट्रेशन जो है उसी के ऊपर रहे, और हमारा मन इधर-उधर ना भटके। तो प्रभु जी यही थोड़ा-सा मैं समझ पाई थी। कोई गलती हो तो क्षमा कीजिएगा।
बहुत सुंदर, बहुत सुंदर एक्सेप्ट ही है, जिसे प्रभु जी ने बताया था कि बहुत सारी चीजों के बीच में रहकर भी अगर हमारा मन भगवान में है तो उसको एकांत कहते हैं। धन्यवाद माता जी। और कौन बताना चाहेगा? टीपू प्रभु, अपना माइक ऑन करिए प्रभु जी।
हरे कृष्ण, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। प्रभु जी, एकांत का मतलब होता है जो साथ में बहुत सारा भक्त है, सबका मन एक साथ लगे तो उनको एकांत बोलता है। लेकिन दो आदमी का बीच में किसी को टेलीविजन देखना है और किसी को और कुछ करना है, तो दो आदमी का बीच में भी कोई रहेगा तो एकांत नहीं होता है। लेकिन बहुत सारा आदमी का साथ में रहते एक साथ एक मन से एक चीज को फॉलो करना है, सब एक साथ करता है, तो उसको एकांत भक्ति बोलता है प्रभु जी।
ओके, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद प्रभु जी, बहुत सुंदर, दोनों उत्तर सही हैं। एकांत का अर्थ जो प्रभु जी ने बताया था अकॉर्डिंग टू भागवतम तथा रामायण के अनुसार। थैंक यू प्रभु जी। और बहुत ही सुंदर इसके बाद जहाँ पर भगवान श्री राम अत्रि जी तथा अनसुया जी को से भेंट हुई थी, तो बहुत सुंदर अनसुया का अर्थ प्रभु जी ने बताया था, जो कि हम कल पूछेंगे आप सबको, आप मेक श्योर कीजिएगा इसको। आइए हम पुनः निवेदन करेंगे हिज ग्रेस लाल गोविंद प्रभु जी से कि वे आज इस कथा के पुनः शेष भाग को श्रवण कराएं। हरे कृष्ण।
मम गुण गावत पुलक शरीरा, गद गद गिरा नयन बहनीरा। काम यादि मद दंभन जाके, काम यादि मन दंभन जाके, तात निरंतर बस में ताके। मम गुण गावत पुलक शरीरा, गद गद गिरा नयन बहनीरा। लक्ष्मण जी राम जी को जीव और ईश्वर का भेद,
Lakshman ji has asked the difference between the living entity and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's asking the process to attain the Supreme. So Ramji replies that these living entities are my part and parcel and are transcendental. But as they are separated from me, they transmigrate from one body to another in 24 lakh species. So if they want to get relieved of this repeated birth and cycle, if they want to attain me or to control me, then they need to do 6 things. So he tells 6 things in order. First and foremost, he says, we should have love towards all the Vaishnavas or devotees of the Lord. Secondly, while performing our duties and work, we should follow the Vedas and ashram system. It's not that we should leave the work.
धर्म के अनुसार, वेदों के अनुसार अपना अपना कर्म करते
We
रहना
should
होगा। यदि अपने
follow the Varnashram accordingly to the Varnashram system and Vedas, we should perform our duties. And if our work is according to them, then what will be the benefit? And on opportune time, we will get renunciate or detached from the sense enjoyment. So we should be doing our duties according to the Vedic injunction and ashrama, and this will create detachment from this material universe. And the
करना है।
fifth is we should have attachment towards the Lord, and with firm faith
और छठ
we should perform the 9 limbs of devotional service, and when we are doing it firmly, then you will get love towards my pastimes. And in this manner, Lord Ram reveals 6 things by which we can have love towards the Lord's pastime. And Lakshmanji, when you will have this love towards my pastimes, then you will get attached to the sages and saints, and by
मेरी सेवा करेगा,
thinking or contemplating that I am everything, then they will perform unalloyed devotional service, and by doing that, there will be one time
पुलक शरीरा गद गद गिरा नयन बहनीरा। जब इस प्रकार से कोई व्यक्ति करेगा,
so when a person will do all these things, then there will be a time
मेरे गुण को गाते हुए मेरा
by singing my glories, by chanting my holy names, his body will become ecstatic. He will feel the 8 symptoms of ecstatic love. His voice will shiver. His eyes will be filled with tears. In his heart, there won't be any lust, envy, or egoism. And oh, my dear Lakshmana, and I'm controlled by such devotees eternally or constantly. So the Lord gets controlled by such devotees who are in this exalted state. So this is our goal, and this is where we should reach. And that is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also mentioned in Shiksha Ashtakam. He says,
पुलके निचितम वपुः कदा तव नाम ग्रहणे भविष्यति। हे कृष्ण, कब मेरे आंखों से आपका
Oh Krishna, when by listening or speaking your name will I be overwhelmed with tears? When will my voice shrivel? And in this manner, Ramji is giving the principle of unalloyed devotional service, and he concludes by saying, those with their heart, mind, and soul, and are performing unalloyed devotional service without any ulterior motive or any other desire, so I reside in their hearts. So in this manner, Ramji gives a discourse, and Lakshmanji venerated him. And now, immediately in Ramayana, the situation is going to change. That Govind TV also has changed. So immediately, the next chopai is that Lakshmanji went for his work, and Ramji got busy with his work, and Sitaji is sitting next to him. And at that time, Goswamiji announces,
दुष्ट हृदय दारुण जसयहीने पंचवटी सो गई एक बारा पंचवटी सो गई एक बारा ये देखी विकल भई जुगल कुमारा। सूपनखा रावण की बहिनी।
Supnakha, Ravan ki bahini. So who came or arrived? Shupnakha. So her name is Supnakha. In Ramayana it is mentioned Sup. So do you know what is soup?
वो धान
The
को साफ करने के लिए सूप
one,
बोलते हैं।
the instrument by which we separate
नखा
the
माने
grains from the dust, and
जिसके
nakun, nakha
नाखून
means
सूप
nails,
के समान थे,
whose
लंबे
nails
लंबे
were
मोटे मोटे,
long
उसे
like
सूपनखा
soup,
कहा गया है।
and she is addressed as Shupnakha.
लंबे लंबे बड़े बड़े नाखून रखने से
So by keeping long
वो जो
nails,
है ना उसमें घुस जाता है,
the COVID
फिर
enters
जिसको टच करोगे उस सबको
and
कोविड हो
the
जाएगा।
one you touch,
पहली
they
बात तो
all will
अपने
get
नाखून को
affected.
छोटा कर लेना
So
चाहिए।
we should keep
दूसरी
our
बात,
nails
यदि हम
clean and
भगवान
short.
की सेवा में लगे हुए हैं
And if we are serving the Lord
तो
and
सेवा पूजा
in
में
devotional
लगे
service,
हुए
then
भक्तों के लिए लंबे नाखून में बहुत
to
महत्व
keep
होता है।
long nails, you can have
तो भगवत सेवा पूजा में भी ये लंबे लंबे नाखून जो हैं
uncleanness, and
डिस्टर्ब करते हैं,
it's
भगवत
an
सेवा में
obstruction
विघ्न देते
in
हैं।
performing devotional service.
और लंबे नाखून रखना ये
And to
शौक
keep long nails
सूपनखा जैसी राक्षसियों का होता है।
is a habit
इसलिए
of
यहाँ पर कहते हैं
demonesses
सूपनखा,
like Shupnakha. That's why it is referred as
जिसके
Shupnakha,
पास पंचवटी
who has arrived to
लेकिन उसका परिचय
meet
देते
Lord
हुए
Sri
कहते
Ram.
हैं
And by
सूपनखा कौन है?
introducing him,
रावण की
her, it is said, who is she? She is the sister of
रावण की
Ravana.
बहन है। तो ये सूपनखा रावण की बहन कैसे हुई?
So how can she be the sister of Ravana? So we need to understand that as well. So listen, Brahmaji's son was Pulatsya. A few days back, I told about the 10 sons of Brahmaji, of whom one was Atri. So Brahmaji had one son, Pulatsya Rishi, and he married the daughter of Trinbing. And with this Trinbindu's daughter, he married, but without even touching her, by listening to the voice of the
की कन्या को गर्भ धारण हो गया
Vedas,
और उससे
the
एक बहुत
daughter of Trinbindu or his wife became pregnant, and they gave birth to a beautiful son whose name was Vishweshwara. While listening to the mantras of Vedas, he came into existence. That's why he was called as Vishweshwara. And he was married to Devavarni, who was a daughter of Bharadwaj Muni. So from Brahmaji, Pulatsya, and Pulatsya, Vishweshrava, and from Vishweshrava, who was married to the daughter of Bharadwaj Muni, and they got a beautiful son, Kuber. As you all know, he, by seeing him, he was made the king of all opulence and wealth by Brahmaji. So when Kuber became the king of all the wealth, so there was one demon, Mali Malivan, and he thought that only demigods are progressing, and now the finance also has been given to demigods, so now this will be a problem. From where will we get the weapons, etc.? Because the finance is now with the demigods. So this demon thought, for our self-interest, we need to do something. So that demon, Mali Malevan, had 3 beautiful daughters, Kekasi, Subhaksha, and Maya. So he said, do one thing. You go to the hermitage of Vishweshrava and serve him, and engage him in some. So this is the thing that was that started from there, and later it came to Shupnakha, and now it is in the colleges and schools. So I'm telling you the history from where this all started. So when Kuber became the king of wealth, this Mali Malevan demon sent his daughters to Visheshrava Muni, who was a saint, and his wife was Devharni. So they were in a blissful situation, but this demon, for his own self-interest, sent his 3 daughters to his hermitage, and they dressed beautifully and went as a very civilized and cultured women and started serving him. So time elapsed. So when we take service from others, so the one we are getting served by someone, then we become obligated.
लेते सब कुछ चल रहा था।
So one day they saw that these 3 women were agitated or in a mood of despondency. So Vishwashrava said that, is there any problem that I can help you with? They said that we are despondent, that we want to marry and have a son, and we want it from you. So since so many times, years he has been taking the services, so he married these 3, and they begot sons by each one. So Brahmaji's son was Pulitsya, Pulitsya is Vishwashrava, and from Vishwarna had one son Kuber with other wife, but these 3 daughters who were the of demon Malimal, and so they married, and the eldest daughter Kekasi, they got 2 sons, that is Ravan and Kumbhakaran. And the second was Maya, who begot 4 sons, Khar, Dushan, Trishra, and Supnakha. So although she's Supnakha, we call Shrupnakha. This is a registered name, Shrupnakha. So Keksi had 2 sons, Ravan and Kumbhakaran, and Vishwashrava and Maya had 4 sons, Khar, Dushan, etc. So the
ये सुभक्षा जो थी, सुंदर भक्षा माने बुरा खाती
third Subhaksha never used to eat anything bad or listen anything bad. She was a Vaishnava or a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, they begot 2 sons. One was son and other daughter. The son was Vibhishan and the daughter was Trijata. When Sitaji resided in Ashokvatika, then Trijata used to keep Mother Sita as her own daughter. So in this manner, these children were born. So now you can understand how Shupnakha is the sister of Ravana. Actually, she is the step sister of Ravana. So Shupnakha was married, for your information, and Ravana had made the arrangements to get her married. So once Ravana defeated everyone in this whole world, so there was only one who was able to defeat Ravana, that is Kalakhanj. Sorry. So this Kalakhanj demon became victorious on Ravana. So if Ravana would have fought more, he would have died. So at that point, Ravana married his. So Kalkhanj Asur had this son whose name was Vidyut Jiva, and Ravan married his sister with him because he didn't want it to be enemy with Kalkhanj.
अब धीरे धीरे रावण ने देखा कि यार
So gradually Ravan said that
ये मेरे समधी,
my
मेरा बहन का पति,
relatives, like
ये दोनों
my
मेरे पर भविष्य में भारी
brother-in-law, and in future they will be very
भारी पड़े, ऐसा सृष्टि में होना नहीं चाहिए।
dangerous for me
एक दिन
or will be more powerful than me. So
बहन सूपनखा
one
के
day
पति विद्युत जीवा का वध कर दिया।
he killed Vidyujiva.
रावण ने ही सूपनखा के पति को मार दिया।
So he killed
सूपनखा
his
रोने लगी,
own
भैया
sister's
आपने ये क्या
husband.
किया?
And Shupnaka started crying, "What have you done? You have killed my husband." Ravana said, "Why do you worry? Your husband has died. You can go anywhere, and whoever you find appropriate or suitable, you bring him here, and I will marry you.
थोड़ी कोई कसम खा रखी है कि एक ही शादी करेंगे, हम कितनी भी शादी कर सकते हैं।
We can marry many times as we are demons."
डंडी देकर रखी थी, तुमको
So he has given this indication,
ऑफर कर देना, मैं बैठा हूँ, तुमको
and
कौन मना कर सकता है।
nobody
तो
can
तब से
refuse you.
सूपनखा खोज रही
So from that point,
कि मुझे
Shupnakha was looking for a suitable husband or a man to make her husband.
गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी
So
कहते हैं
now
कि अब
Tulsidas
समझ में आ
ji
गया, सूपनखा रावण की
writes,
बहन, दुष्ट
so now you understood
दारुण
how
दुष्ट
Shupnakha is sister of Ravana,
दुष्ट था,
whose heart was
पंचवटी से
evil.
गई एक बार,
Dush
कुछ
means
समय
evil,
के बाद
Hriday means heart.
पंचवटी में गई,
And she
देखा
went
जुगल भई
to
जुगल
Panchavati. Panchavati, so gai.
जुगल कुमार
Means she went to
राम, जब
Panchavati,
देखा
and
वो
by
मोहित हो
seeing
गई।
Jugal Kumara, that is Ram and Lakshmana, Jugal means two, Kumara means princes.
सुंदर पुरुष है, मेरे रूप को देखकर
So
मेरी ऑफर
after
रिजेक्ट कर
seeing
देंगे।
them, she said that after seeing me,
रूप
they will
बदलना
reject
जानती
me.
थी।
So, and she has
सबसे पहले
this
सूपनखा ने अपना रूप बदला और
strength,
बहुत
a
सुंदर
power
सौंदर्य
to
का
change
रूप
her
धारण
form.
किया।
So she took a beautiful form,
और उस समय गोस्वामी तुलसीदास जी वर्णन
and
करते हैं सिचुएशन
Tulsidas ji
क्या,
describes the situation.
राम और सीता, आप देख रहे हैं ना, गोविंद टीवी ने पीछे
As you can see,
राम
Govind
और
TV
सीता
has
एक
made the
साथ बैठे
backdrop.
थे
Ram and Sita were sitting
और
together,
लक्ष्मण जी थोड़े से दूर
and Lakshman ji was
अपने बाण
little
की
far behind.
धार
He
निकाल रहे
was
थे। लक्ष्मण जी को सजा कर ही बिठाया
sharpening
था
his
कि खड़े
arrows.
और चला दो, तो लक्ष्मण जी वो बाण को देख रहे
So
थे,
Lakshman ji was preparing for the
साथ में बैठे थे
battle.
और उसी समय सूपनखा आई और आकर
So Ramji and Sita ji were sitting together, and Lakshman ji was sharpening his arrows. And at that time, Shupnakha came, and Shupnakha gave or presented her proposal. So if you like a person, then you should tell your parents or elders so that they can talk further. But there is one society or civilization where they themselves talk and bring this proposal. So Shupnakha proposed. Sita ji is sitting, and she had told straightforward, and she said, discussing her profile, there is no one far beautiful than me. So if someone else praises, then it's worthy. But she started praising herself. She said that there is no one who is beautiful like me, and I'm looking for a handsome husband for myself, and I've been able to find the same. But today, after seeing you, I have realized that you are suitable for me. She says that even you're not that much handsome, but still you're suitable somewhat for me, or somewhat suitable for me. So will you marry me? So in Ramayana, it's mentioned Ramji didn't even looked at Shupnakha. He is such an epitome of perfection and modesty. You can see he didn't even glance at Shupnakha.
बाता अहि को आर मोर लघु भ्राता। आदर्श परम मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम राम
the
जी
most respectable and ideal Lord Sri Ram didn't even
ये हम मनुष्य को
looked or glanced at her.
सीखने लायक है।
So this is what all men should learn from Lord Sri Ram.
जी सुपनखा के सामने देखे नहीं,
He didn't even looked at her, and the first and foremost reason was
अपनी दृष्टि सुपनखा को नहीं दी।
Ramji never
सिद्धांत
didn't
है
glance
कि
on Lord Sri Ram, and the philosophy behind is that
अपनी दृष्टि भी नहीं देनी चाहिए।
we should not even look at people who are not worthy. So we should not give our heart to any,
नहीं देनी चाहिए,
but we should not even
वो अपनी दृष्टि भी नहीं
give
देनी
our
चाहिए।
glance.
राम जी ने हमें सिखाया।
That is what Ramji is teaching us.
दूसरा कारण,
And second reason,
सुपनखा राक्षसी है,
this Shupnakha is a demon and Lord is the Lord. And if he looks at her, then she would have burnt in and turned into ashes. And there will be one character less. So he said that let the pastime reveal itself.
और राम जी ने सुपनखा के सामने नहीं देखा तो क्या किया?
So
ही चीतई। अब बात सुपनखा कर रही है, राम जी सुपनखा के सामने
So-
नहीं, सीता जी के सामने देख रहे हैं।
although Shupnakha is speaking, but he is looking at Mother Sita,
के सामने देखकर राम जी
and
सुपनखा से
looking
बात
at
करते
her,
हैं। मानो राम जी
he
कहते
is
हैं कि
speaking to
बात ये है
Shupnakha,
कि तू बोल तो
and he
रही है,
says, although you are
बताओ तो
speaking,
देख रही है,
you are giving the proposal,
सीता ऑलरेडी मेरी पत्नी हो
but
चुकी है।
I already have Sita as my wife,
पर हूँ।
and I follow the principle of one woman in my life.
दिखाया कि यहाँ वहाँ दृष्टि
So he taught that
नहीं डालनी चाहिए।
we should not look here and there, because we all are practitioners of devotional service, and while performing devotional service, our vision is the key. Whatever we see through our eyes, that will get imprinted in our mind. Therefore, a great sage has said,
हमने जहां में देखी किस्म किस्म की नजरें, लेकिन चकोर चांद जैसी हम टगर ढूंढते हैं। किसी मेहरबा की एक नजर ढूंढते हैं, ये बेकदर है दुनिया, हम किसी की कदर ढूंढते हैं। तुमने बनाया सारा ये चमन तुम्हें मुबारक, लेकिन एक पुष्प मिले ऐसा हम मुकद्दर ढूंढते हैं। दृष्टि जो है यहाँ वहां
so
नहीं,
the vision should be focused, and we should always be focused on the Lord.
जब सुपनखा ने प्रस्ताव रखा तो राम जी
So when Shupnakha presented his proposal, he is looking at Mother Sita and said that I am already married, but my younger brother, Ahai, the one who is sitting in front, my younger brother, more Laghu means my, Laghu means smaller, and Kuar means unmarried.
तो अब मुझे बताइए, राम जी अपने छोटे भाई को कुंवारा कह रहे हैं,
So Ramji is telling that he is unmarried, but is Lakshmana unmarried? He is married.
तो लक्ष्मण को कुंवारा कह देना ये तो झूठा हो गया।
So this would be a lie.
राम भी झूठा
And
बोलते हैं, चलो कृष्ण
the epitome of perfection will lie. Krishna speaks lies. That is understandable. But does Ram also speaks the lie, or is in untruthful? So the two reasons are mentioned by the scholars. So as there is a person, so we have to reciprocate in the similar fashion. So he is speaking in front of Shupnakha. So he is speaking in her words. Although she is a widow, she is saying that I am unmarried. So can't he say that my brother is unmarried? So although she is married, she is saying that I'm unmarried. And Ramji never lies. Lakshmanji had left his sleep, food, and his wife. What can be the greater renunciation than that? So whatever Ramji is saying is beautiful and truthful. So Shupnakha approaches Lakshmana and says that the same dialogue what she has told to Ramji, she repeats it and said that please marry me. And he says, oh, beautiful damsel, this is true that I am a bachelor, but I am the servant of Lord Sri Ram.
और मैं राम का सेवक हूँ, तो शादी के बाद तुमको भी
So
दासी
if I'm the servant of Lord Ram, then you will also have to be his maid servant. So it means that if you marry me, you will also become maid servant. You will have to clean the home, you will have to fetch water to cook. So is it acceptable? She says no.
और कर दासा, ये पहली लाइन में जो लिखा है ना, मैं राम कर दासा, इसका दूसरा भाव ये है,
And the second meaning here is
जिसके पास गई थी और तूने
the one whom you have approached and he didn't look at you, and I am her, his servant. So my master has not looked at it. So when he didn't look at you, then how can I look at you, being his servant?
भाव ये है,
And the third meaning here is that I am the servant of Lord Ram and not of lust.
यहाँ नहीं गलेगी,
So you will not be successful here.
तो हे सुंदरी तुम एक काम करो,
So, oh damsel, you do one thing.
तुमको विवाह करना है तो राम के साथ करो।
If you really want to marry, you should marry Lord Ram. So Lakshmanji is sending her back to Ram. So there can be a question that why Ram and Lakshman are behaving like this with the woman. So they are actually testing this woman. And if you want to test a woman or a person, then that is by their patience, just or tolerance. How great a person is, what is the meter for the same? If he wears good clothes, then he is great. If he is opulent, then is he benevolent or magnificent? A person is glorious only when, what is the meter for that? That is his tolerance. If you just touch him or angst them, then you will realize how much tolerant they are. So they are testing her tolerance and patience. So 2-5 times it so happened, Shupnakha became angry and she lost her form, and her original form of a demoness developed or appeared. And then she said, this woman with two of you, because of her you are refusing me, so let me kill her. So Shupnakha was about to attack Mother Sita, and Lakshmana could not tolerate, and he was just sharpening his arrows, and he attacked her and he cut her ears and nose. She started shouting and the blood started oozing, and then she ran away from there and she went to her brother's Kharadushan, and she started abusing them with harsh words, so that you should be ashamed of yourself. Although you are present on this earth, and yet my nose and ears were teared away. So they said that who did that? So she replied that I was roaming in the forest, and while doing that, I was thirsty, and to drink water, I went to Panchvati, and there I saw a beautiful woman, and I gave a proposal that will you marry my brother? So although she went for her own work and she's lying blatantly, and she said that then this prince cut my nose and ears. So Khardushan, with all their might and army, came and followed Shupnaka closely and came to Panchvati. Goswamiji writes beautifully, although Khardushan came with 14,000 soldiers or army, but nobody will come alive. So a person who doesn't have nose and ears, and if you follow such people, you will be destroyed for sure. We should follow people who have nose and ears. So a person who is devoid of shame, Shupnakha was moving forward and Khardushan was following, and the army was following them. So so the followers of such person, the destruction is inevitable. Ram and Lakshman were sitting, so and Shupnaka pointed that this is the one who had teared away my ears and nose. And when they reached Ramji, a beautiful thing. I really like this statement of Khardushan.
भगिनी कीन्ह कुरूपा हे जदपि भगिनी कीन कुरूपा बललायक नहीं पुरुषयनुपा बधलायक नहीं पुरुषयनुपा। शूर्पणखा ने तो कहा कि बस यही है, इसी ने।
Although Shupnakha said that this is the one who has teared away my ears and nose, but Khardushan came to kill Lord Ram. But when they saw Lord Sri Ram, then what do they say? Although, Yadapi means although, Bhagini Kinha Karupa, although this Ram has made our sister ugly, yet they are not worthy to be killed. They should not be killed. Although the sister is saying that he should be killed, but we should not kill him. Khardushan are discussing what should we do. It's not appropriate to kill him. He's so beautiful and handsome. It's not appropriate to kill him. What should we do? Say that let's abduct him. We'll keep him on the crossroads of Lanka and everybody will have his audience. Ramji is thinking, if they become devotees, then what will happen to me? So, Ramji says that we are princes and we are in search of people like you and kill such people like you. So when he spoke this angstfully, he said that he looks handsome, but his behavior or nature is not that good. So Khardushan announced, let's kill them both. We should not leave them. Ramji thought, so many days I haven't used my bow and arrow because from last 14 years there was no need to do that. And now 14,000 soldiers are coming together. So Ramji was just trying to check his bow. So he just, without an arrow, he just left his rope in such a manner that the sound vibration made the whole army deaf. Khardushan said that you should move forward, but now they have unable to hear anything. So they all started climbing the tree instead of moving forward, as were the orders. So whatever they were saying, they were doing something else. And Khardushan had this benediction by a great sage that we should not be killed by anyone's hands. So such boon they had asked. So said that you will have to die from someone's hand. So they said that we will kill, and they said that we will not kill ourselves or each other. So instead of being killed by others, we will fight and kill ourselves. So Ramji was aware and he created such a Maya that everybody was looking like Lord Ram.
सब एक दूसरे को राम के रूप में देखने लगे, ये राम है.
Everybody was looking him as Ram, and they started killing each other. Goswamiji has beautifully described.
प्रभु देखी मायानाथ अति कौतुक करो. मायानाथ ने अत्यंत कौतुक किया. चौथी लाइन में देखिए.
So the master of the external potency, he created such a situation or Maya that everybody started looking each other as Lord Sri Ram, and by seeing that they started attacking or killing each other. So in this manner, Ramji destroyed Khardushan along with his 14,000 army. Ravana's great army was destroyed. And Goswami Tulsidas ji writes beautifully, so this was not just sending Shupnaka back, but it was just like a notice to Ravana by Lakshmana that be cautious, otherwise only the nose and ears have been teared, but there is a great destruction in store. So now Shupnaka comes to Ravana, and in his assembly she tells that Khardushan took the action but nothing happened. Now she will request to Ravana, and Ravana will take an action. When Ravana will take this action, so now the action movie will start. So tomorrow is the last day. So we will listen tomorrow how Ravana comes with Marichi. So Marich is in Mauritius. Are you aware? So where does Marich? So Mauritius is because of Marich. So Marich came to obstruct Vishwamitra's fire sacrifice, and he was attacked by Ramji, and he was thrown to Mauritius. So Ravana goes to Mauritius to bring Marichi, and we will listen the rest of the pastime. So you all have been listening with so much patience and love. I'm really grateful to all of you, and especially I want to thank the organizers, Pushpatala Mataji and her whole family, who have organized this beautiful Katha. So let's thank them, and with Jai Jaikar, let's conclude the 6th day of the Katha.
ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण की